Welcome back. Thanks for staying with Morning Live. So it's the beginning of the year and a brand new decade. 20 years since the beginning of the new millennium. Some of us are done celebrating the first day of 2020 and we're now wondering, what does this year and decade hold in store for us? Also, you may be wondering what direction South Africa could be taking in this new year. To chat a little bit more about this, we have Astrologer Linda Shaw. Good morning and welcome to Morning Live.
Morning. It was so fabulous driving in with no traffic.
Yeah, it is incredibly quiet, isn't it? It's wonderful. So we're into a new year, into a new decade. What does that mean when it comes to looking at the stars and the planets, and what has it got lined up for South Africa?
Sure. Well, you know, the planets all move around the sun and they all move at different speeds. And this year, for the first time in 700 years, all of the major planets, the really heavy, slow-moving planets, are coming together into one space. So this is really quite extraordinary for the world, actually. And if you look at each country, you sort of look at where it affects them. And for us, and you know, globally to an extent as well, there is an issue around leadership. What does leadership mean? Are our leaders the kinds of people we want to have in charge? And so power struggles and issues around law and what are good laws, what are bad laws, are coming up this year. So the ANC is still deeply divided. So there's going to be a whole drama around the national, council, ANC council meeting mid-year. But nobody's going to kick out Ramaphosa, even though he hasn't done very much just yet. Eskom will continue to be a bit of a pain, I'm afraid.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay.
SAA, I think, will be rescued. I think land reform will be put on hold. It's just sort of keeping us happy for the time being. But the wonderful thing about this year is that we've got all the billionaire energies collecting around us. And in May, we're moving into a success cycle for the country.
Okay.
So I'm thinking this is where we all get enormously wealthy, and then we don't care who's in charge.
Wow. Okay, so 2020 is the year of money.
It's the year of money. And also 2020, as we know, is perfect vision. When you have 2020 vision, you have perfect vision. So it's the year in which we're all starting to see clearly who we are, what we're capable of, and you know, who's running our lives and how we can work around that.
But you say that there is also going to be a lot of tension around leadership. So you're saying that a personal leadership is going to be heightened, but those that have got leadership positions in industries around us are going to be in turmoil.
You know, I think, for example, Zuma will be kind of battling, am I going to jail, am I not? He probably won't. But, you know, the leaders who have done things will be called to account to a certain extent. Of course, you know, not to any major extent, but there will certainly be an awareness amongst the people of who's doing what and whether or not we want to restructure our leadership energies. And I think by next year, by 2021, these planets move into a place that say, okay, now the people are in charge. And so this year, I think, is going to be a lot of desperately hanging on to power amongst the powerful, and so maybe some more fairly draconian laws they'll try and introduce those, but you know, we'll be fine. We're discovering how powerful we are. We're discovering how we can work as groups and as communities, and how we can help each other, and how we don't actually have to live through the energies of the politicians. They can just carry on with their thing.
Okay, so what that sounds generally positive. We've got billionaire energy coming around South Africa. That sounds generally good. What is going to be the bad challenges for South Africa in the year ahead?
Well, why do we have to bring those up?
We got to balance it out, you know, 2020.
Okay, fine. Certainly, I think there'll be a lot of riots and demonstrations, and this has been shown around the world. And the interesting thing about these collections of people, like in Hong Kong, for example, Venezuela, all of these people, is that they are discovering how powerful they are in groups, and also they can organize these demonstrations through the social media. So they're very structured, very organized, so the power of the people is becoming increased, but at the same time we have riots, we have demonstrations. And the other thing, although we're generally as a country protected from natural disasters, our issue is always water and sometimes fire. And if you look at those in terms of the elements, water is emotion, and fire is anger. We have huge amounts of suppressed emotion. A lot of people suffering and just gritting their teeth and dealing with it, and very frustrated, a lot of buried anger, and that's sort of manifesting in terrible kind of weather situations. So I think if we can look at how to manage our emotions better and start thinking about those things where we can take our power back, where we can help, that would really make a difference. I think the other issue that we have to look at is that privacy is now a thing of the past. We've been fighting it, and basically we have no privacy left, and next thing they'll be chipping us, for goodness sake, I'm quite sure. But I think if I have to look at what's good about that, what's great about that is that different cultures, different races, different communities can get to know each other better via the fact that we no longer have any privacy. We can find out anything about each other. Someone was showing me this thing where he said, okay, there are this many billionaires in America and this many people have dogs. I mean, they know everything. So we can find out the same information, should we be vaguely interested. But the point is we can get to know each other and learn to interact as different people, as different cultures. And I think that's the one good thing about the loss of privacy that we can take from that.
If you had like one piece of advice for all South Africans, regardless of what their individual star sign actually is, going into the new year, what is it?
You know, I think we forget how powerful we are, and if we take responsibility for what happens to us, instead of saying it's my fault, say, I attracted this, I created this, I had the power to create this into my life, therefore I have the power to change it. And if we look at our lives that way, we can find our own power and change our lives individually and in groups. And I think that's really important, that we start to understand how powerful we are instead of being victims, because becoming a victim is just, it takes you nowhere.
Yeah. Let's go into the individual star signs of the zodiac. And we're going to start with Capricorn, because that's the star sign that we're currently in. Those born between the period of December the 22nd and the 19th of January. What does 2020 have in store for our Capricorns?
Well, I must say, you know, Capricorns are always the ones who have to go through it and deal with the worst of whatever's going on, because I think because they're the strongest and most powerful energy, they are able to take stuff, and they're also incredibly ambitious. They're willing to do almost whatever it takes, you know, to get where they're going. So all of the planets are actually gathered in Capricorn, these planets that I'm talking about, that have, so on the one hand they've got access to huge strength and huge power, but on the other hand they're being really called to question, you know, they're being dumped on in many ways. But there are huge prosperity opportunities for Capricorn, new businesses, new careers, and also possibly moving, maybe even overseas. And this year, fascinated by the body, getting young and healthy and gorgeous, marvelous.
All right, what about our Aquarians?
Our Aquarians are, you know, Aquarians are responsible, I think, for bringing changes into the world. They're the weirdos of the world, and if we didn't have Aquarians, I think we'd all still be living in caves. They're the ones who are ahead of their time, so they never quite fit in. So at the moment, they're looking at new belief systems. What do I really believe? What can I really do? So they're changing that, which results, I think, in career changes and ultimately great success for them, although they're not particularly interested in success. They're hopeless with money. But it will take a little bit longer than they hoped to get where they're going. A lot of upheavals at home, shifting around, taking care of family, which they also hate. Love life's pretty much as it was last year. Huge efforts will have to be made if you want to change your love life, Aquarians.
Sure, Aquarians.
Which one are you?
Forget about your love life. Please just help everybody else. Be the weirdo that you are and innovate for our benefits. Okay, exactly. What about the Pisces, those born between February 19 and March 20?
Pisces. They have more money and more opportunities to create income, although they are even worse with money than Aquarians. They're hopeless. But there are career successes, so they're moving into a different career phase, which is quite nice. They're starting to understand that their job, that they are born to help, to make a difference, and that is their fulfillment, that, you know, becoming rich and famous is not necessarily what does it for Pisces. So lots of new creative ideas, but the thing about Pisces is they have to learn to get practical and make them happen instead of just dwelling around, you know, on another planet. Lots of new friends, social happenings, not much change in the love life, so if you're in love as Pisces, stay there. And please learn to take better care of yourself, Pisces. They're so addictive. They always end up taking ghastly things. So, you know, behave.
Okay, March 21 to April 19 is the time for Aries to celebrate their birthday.
Yeah, Aries. Aries are the initiators. They're charge in with new ideas, and then they get bored with them and wander off and leave someone else to finish them. So they have this incredible force and incredible leadership energy. So we've got powerful career focus as they are taking charge of all sorts of different things. But they must remember to take charge of, or to work with more than one energy at a time, because otherwise they will get bored and they will, wander off and leave the details and it'll fall apart. So new financial opportunities, new independence. Some of the planets, in fact all of the planets except the sun and the moon, go backwards, appear to go in reverse every year or at certain times. And this year, Mars, which is Aries planet, is going in reverse for 3 months. So during that time there's a lot of frustrated anger, a lot of unfulfilled promises. So there will be made promises that aren't kept. In fact, let me give you the dates. September 9th to November 10th. So those are the dates that Aries has to do their homework, make sure that everything is in place. But leadership issues are independent leadership, career success is what Aries is about. Anyone in love with an Aries had just better accept that they're not going to see much of them this year.
Okay. It seems as if any of the star signs where leadership is a core aspect of that star sign is going to be having that coming to the fore this year.
Exactly.
It's fair to say that. Okay, cool. So April 20 to May 20 is at the time of the Taurus. So what does 2020 hold in store for them?
Taurus is, Taurus has got the planet of sudden and dramatic change, has moved into its energy, and it's staying there for about 7 years. So Taurus, who spends its whole life trying to create picket fences and pension plans and retirement annuities, is suddenly being hit by whoosh, sudden change, and it's taking them down all sorts of new avenues that they don't want to go. So nevertheless, they're being kind of pushed into expanding their horizon and possibly moving, maybe to another country, but most likely staying around. Lots of travel, though, sudden dramatic changes, unpredictable career moves. They have to get used to a new interpretation of stability, the kind that comes with trust. Love is fabulous for Taurus. They're always, great with love lives. Money, they've always got money. They're fabulous with money.
She was. Don't all of us just wish that we were born between April 20 and May 20? Okay, what about the Geminis?
Geminis are the energies that really don't wish to grow up at any particular time. So they're being forced into adulthood in this year because all of the grow-up energies are hitting, which they will be fighting. But they're learning new skills and sort of refining the career so that it makes more sense, finding their niche, because they do tend to dot about and, often they're in journalism and stuff like that, things where they can keep moving and keep active. Very wicked love life. Need to watch yourself, Gemini, if you want to hang on to what you've got. Misbehaving, Money comes from all sorts of places, besides work, inheritance, competitions, and different things. So keep an eye out, buy lotto tickets, stuff like that. But basically, we're growing up, Gemini, which is scary.
Okay, what about the Cancerians?
Cancerians are so wonderful. Turbulent year for Cancerians because their energy is right opposite Capricorn. So that means all of their relationships, all of their business partnerships are affected, and they possibly will change marriage partner, possibly change business partners. And actually during this time, if they can hang on and just grit their teeth and stick it through and be charming as they so easily are, then it might be a better idea. So it's not a good time to be making those kinds of changes, but they might want to. Very social year. Don't get divorced this year if you can possibly avoid it. You'll know what you want in 2021. Lots of new friends, old friends disappearing. You hate that. Watch the temper, learn to control the frustrations. Take up yoga or martial arts or something. Very busy at work, making money eventually, but busy.
Okay, so speaking about leadership, the lion of the zodiac, the Leos.
The lions, aren't they fab? The lions are actually the laziest people in the universe. Well, if you think of a lion, he's languishing in the sun, licking his whatever, and waiting for something to happen. The thing about a Leo is that when somebody arrives or when something happens, then they're up and at it and happening and charming and verbal and wonderful. But if there's nothing going on, you've literally got to electrocute them to get them off the couch. So I hope you're not a Leo. I'm just...
I'm not.
There you are, up and at them at 3 in the morning or something fab. We got job opportunities for any Leos who are unemployed, exciting career shifts. Love gets tested, but Leos are hopeless. I mean, they're charming and charming and charming, and then they've disappeared for 5 days and you can't find them. So anyone who's in love with a Leo has to be very patient, very careful during May and June. You'll be found out then if you're being bad. Money's improving, depending how motivated you are, and whether you. But Leos always find a way. They're great. They just charm the pants off anybody who's near them.
Okay. What about the Virgos?
Virgos are fabulous. Virgos take care of all of us and take responsibility for everything, and clean the house. They're wonderful.
Tell me about it.
Yeah, Virgo. We need Virgos. In fact, if I was ever going to employ anyone, it would be a Virgo, because they're trustworthy and they're there and they're doing it. However, they do. Are you a Virgo?
I'm a Virgo. Actually, Sakina is also a Virgo.
Ah,
yeah.
Wow.
Even our floor manager, you see? Hetty, she's also a Virgo. So you've got lots of employable people if you're ever thinking to employ somebody right here at Morning Live, Linda. Okay, so what about 2020?
Okay. Career's going well with Virgo, sort of plodding forward. Nothing kind of dramatic, except possible pay rises or offer of money from other sources. Really enjoyable work. They're finding ways to enjoy their work. Health is good, which is always important for a Virgo. They're very neurotic about their health. Serious love dramas coming up, but that's because you mostly expect too much. You expect other people to be like you. Nobody's like you. Nobody's like a Virgo. Most people are normal human beings. However, you have to learn to love people the way they are, not the way you want them to be. That's your lesson for the year. Mostly they're a very, very happy year for Virgo.
Okay, what about Libra?
Libra, we've got career changes, uncertainty, travel, lots of travel, and educational opportunities. So they're looking to develop their skills, learn new skills. They may have to fight for their money, but they'll get what they want. And they're always, gorgeous and charming. Librans are ruled by the goddess of beauty, so they're always gorgeous. Let's see. Interesting love affairs have to behave. Their Librans are not very faithful. Not easy to stay faithful this year either. A few minor health issues, take vitamins, and do some exercise. Get off your, rear end.
All right, so that's the message for Leanne, because she's a Libran. Scorpios.
You see, she's gorgeous. Scorpio like to be in charge of everything. So what they're finding this year is that they're not in charge of their emotions. So you're having to deal with home, family, children, all of those emotional dramas this year, which is throwing them a little. So they're having to sort of find their stability, and also wondering when they'll get time for themselves. They're sort of having to deal with everybody else. But you're the strong one, Scorpio. Finances are fantastic. So you're making money. But love is very unstable. Exciting, as always with Scorpio. And they're, such toads to be in love with. They can do the most weird things. However, they are delicious and charismatic and irresistible.
Sure. Linda knows you all much better than you think. What about the Sagittarians?
Sagittarians, property is the big, prosperity is a big issue in property. They're thinking about buying property. Lots of money about. Sagittarians are very careless, though, so they tend to sort of let fabulous deals drift through their fingers and think, oh, whoops, I should have done that. So, pay attention, Sagittarius, pay attention. Buy lotto tickets, ask for pay rises. Money is around you and coming towards you, so grab it. 100 different places, and that's not just your career. In fact, you probably got 3 careers. Fabulous love affairs brewing, lots happening there. If you're already committed, please try and behave, or, wear a blindfold when you go out in public. And you might write a book. I think it's about time, Sag.
Wow. Okay. Thank you so much, Linda, for all of those insights. Any final words?
We are all gods and goddesses. We must take our power.
Thank you very much. Astrologer Linda Shaw giving us some insights into what to expect in the zodiac for 2020. Stay with Morning Live. We're going to say shop, shop, it's after this.